So what we are going to do now is, whatever we had done with regards to the first chapter on communication, let's understand every bit of whatever we have learned in the communication chapter through a case study. That's what we are going to do now. Right. So look at the board. I'm just going to read out the case study for you once more, so that for all those people who missed out the last session will be able to understand this, right? In fact, Aditya was not there in the very first class, right? Yeah, so Rohit Malhotra, a fresh MBA from Amity Business School, received an interview call from Ernst & Young for the position of an intern. He has to appear for the interview on the 5th of June at 10 a.m. at the company's Gurgaon office. Rohit is excited about the opportunity and begins preparing for the interview. The day of the interview arrives. Rohit, who resides in Noida, starts from home at 8:30 a.m. However, he gets caught in the traffic jam and gets late for the interview. He arrives at the office at 10:20 a.m. This unfactored delay makes him anxious and nervous. After apologizing to the receptionist and informing her of the reason for being late, Rohit waits for his turn for the interview. An hour later, he gets called in for the interview. It has been one of the longest hours of Rohit's life. On entering the interview room, he finds himself facing a group of 5 interviewers. Rohit: good morning, sir. Please be seated. Why did you get late, Mr. Rohit? Clenching his hands: I'm sorry, sir. I got caught in an unprecedented traffic jam. Of course, traffic snarls are an everyday occurrence in the NCR. NCR is National Capital Region. Anyway, tell us about yourself. Shifting in his seat: what would you like to know about me, sir? Anything you think is important. I am a Delhi boy, born and brought up here. I did my schooling from ABS Public School and graduation and post-graduation from Amity Business School. I'm an extrovert who gets along well with other people. I'm also a focused and hardworking person who is result-oriented. What accomplishments are you proud of? I have always been a good debater and have won many trophies at school and college level. I was appreciated and given a commendation certificate for my project work with Company X. Tell me about a difficult experience in your life and how did you deal with it? Well, sir, I haven't faced many difficult situations so far. However, moving into a hostel after school did require many adjustments. I had to make new friends, cope with bossy seniors, do all my basic work myself, and stop being fussy about food. I learned many life skills and became independent and responsible. Innovation is the key to success. Can you think of 5 ways you can use that styrofoam cup in front of you besides holding liquids? He fidgets with his folder, takes time. Sir, it can be used to hold office clips, carry sticky solid food items, perhaps trap a cockroach, and I can't think of anything else yet. Can you tell us a joke? Completely confused, cannot think of a joke he can relate to an interview panel. Sir, I cannot recall a joke I can share with you. Thank you, Rohit. We'll get back to you. Thank you, sir. Rohit exits the room and wonders what would be the outcome of the interview. So this is the proposed case study. And so there are a set of questions that are there. Question number 1. Do you think Rohit will be selected by the interviewers? Why? Why not? Number 2. Which non-verbal cues revealed Rohit's state of mind to the interviewers? What conclusion did they come to? Mr. B asks Rohit, tell us something about yourself. What did he want to know about Rohit? Rohit says, I'm a Delhi boy born and brought up here. I did my schooling from ABS Public School and graduation and post-graduation from Amity Business School. Which principle of good communication has he failed to apply here? While talking about his accomplishments, where did Rohit go wrong? Which characteristic of effective communication is missing in his answers? What barriers do you think were present in the interview? So these are the 6 questions for which you're supposed to find appropriate answers. So let's analyze one after the other. The first question: do you think Rohit will be selected by the interviewers? Why or why not? So if you say yes, the answer is why. If you say no, why not? So what's your response? What have you answered? Have you answered yes or a no? No. If you say no, why? He was late, so that is one of the reasons why he should not be given a job, all right? He was very nervous. What could be the other reasons? Okay, so he did not answer appropriately to the questions that were asked. Okay, fine. Anything else?
His body language was not that good.
Okay, he was not confident and that was reflected in his body language. What else? Let's see what the answers are. Can anyone read that? Or should I read it myself? Is it too blurred? Can I read it? Okay. Rohit is unlikely to be selected for the internship, meaning not going to be selected. Unlikely. He has revealed his anxiety and nervousness. Somebody said that. In speaking about himself, he has not understood the interview's focus included unnecessary information. Why? Whether he's a Delhi boy, whether he did his schooling in a particular school, whether he did his undergrad and postgrad in Amity University, all these things are very much part of his CV, a curriculum vitae or a resume. The interviewer wanted to know more about him and not necessarily his educational particulars. And then towards the end he said what? I am an extrovert. Who is an extrovert? Someone who goes out of his way to speak to the others and becomes very casual to people. Right. So in that context, perhaps he was rejected. He has been unable to promote himself by highlighting his strengths. What you're supposed to talk about is your strengths and not about the personal details that they are already aware of. It's because they have scrutinized your CV, they have invited you for the, or they have called you for the interview. Right? And then he should have focused on his winning arguments in debate. Because he's a good debater is what he said. His information about his project work is incomplete. He said, what was the remark that he said? I got a certificate, I got an appreciation, I got a commendation for the project that I did. But what about the project? You're supposed to elaborately discuss that. That was not. So these are follies of communication. So when you communicate, you need to be appropriate. Right? You need to be specific about what you talk about yourself. If not, people are going to misunderstand, and maybe one of the jobs that you can easily get into may not be your own because of certain minor hassles like this. And then Rohit also fails to exhibit the ability to think on his feet. Could not relate a joke or come up with effective innovations. Yes. People will look up to innovations. Right? So these are things that you will have to improvise upon. These are not things that people will teach you. That you imbibe over a period of time, you acquire it over a period of time, and you practice it over a period of time. That's more important. Second question. Clenching of hands, shifting in seat, fidgeting with folder, hesitating, pausing, reveal his nervousness and anxiety. Okay? Sometimes people specifically look for your body language. I told you, remember, if you don't look into the other person's eyes, they will think that you are not a trustworthy person. If you put your hands into your pocket, especially men, sometimes women also, it's a sign of nervousness. You're not confident. Right? Sometimes people have the tendency of not knowing how to use their hands. So you simply fidget and stand. So, when people look at you, especially when you're a speaker, you need to command respect, not demand respect. What's the difference between commanding respect and demanding respect? Commanding respect is based on your demeanor, people will automatically respect you. Demanding respect is you ask them, you respect me. That's not the right way. So that's something that you'll have to understand. Third one. He wishes to know about his strengths, hobbies and character traits. Well, what did he say? What was the hobby that he said? Yes, go back to your essay. Go back to the write-up. Yes? What did he say? What details did he say? Ask what? What would you like to know about? There are certain questions that you cannot ask the interviewers. The interviewer's job is to interview you. And your job is to just be interviewed and not ask reply questions, or you can't question them back. Right? That's not allowed. So that's the thing that you'll have to look at. Next one. He has added irrelevant detail. The interviewers know about his qualification from his resume. Rohit should have been concise and focused. That was also lacking. He wasn't concise. He was also not focused in his interview. Next one. Rohit failed to give complete information about his strengths in debating and details of the project worked on. He should have mentioned the reason for the commendation certificate. So all minute little details are very essential. And the last one, emotions created communication barriers for Rohit. What are the emotions? One, he came late. Perhaps there was this particular mental block. What if he did not get selected? However confident you are, if you do not overcome a stress situation instantaneously, it may not be easy for you to. What? Excel in something. Right. Maybe he was a very decent candidate, but because of the traffic and the several other altercations that have taken place because of that, maybe he was zoned out. He was not really sure that should he take up the interview. He was not confident when the right questions were asked, because probably when somebody asked question, he was still thinking about, because of this particular issue, I told them I was caught in a traffic. So maybe because of that, I may not get a job. So all those things, the job may have been the most important thing for him. There could be several such possibilities, right? But you must be devoid of your emotions when you speak to people, irrespective of whatever situation, unless and otherwise it's an informal space. You must not get too emotional, right? So these are the things that I want you to remember when you solve a case study. You should know how to write. You could choose to answer in such a way through points. You could also elaborately discuss by thinking of your own real life situations. That's also possible. Is that clear? Shall we move on?